Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for season 10 and maybe 11 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a new theory. Maggie will exile Negan when she comes back. So of course, as soon as the confirmation came that Maggie will be coming back in season 10's second half, now we don't know how much she's going to be involved, but as soon as that confirmation came, so did the speculations and theories about a potential confrontation between Maggie and Negan. And there's been a lot of theories about whether Maggie is going to kill Negan or the possibility that she will exile Negan. Now, one thing I do want to say right off the bat is that I think it doesn't make sense for Maggie to confront Negan for the second time, mainly because it happened already once in season 9, and I think that it was a big moment. It was a great way to wrap up Negan and Maggie's story in a way, and to bring that to a conclusion. And in many ways, Maggie already got her closure. She got what she was after. And Negan and Maggie had their little scene together, and it was a powerful scene. And I think that it would diminish what that scene was about if you were to have Maggie come back and do that again and confront Negan. For one, it doesn't really make sense because Maggie already got over it in a way. Not that she got over it where she forgave Negan, but she got over it where it was okay for her, for Negan to spend the rest of his life in the jail cell. Now, of course, when Maggie comes back, Negan will not be in his jail cell, most likely. Now, that might trigger some sort of a reaction from Maggie, but I don't think that Maggie's going to come back and want to kill Negan. I think she's going to be pissed. I think she wants to have answers, and I think she will work towards getting Negan back in his cell. But I don't think she's necessarily going to be after killing Negan to get revenge for Glenn's death, because I think if she really wanted to kill Negan, she would have done it in season 9. So I think to keep the conversation short, I don't think it makes sense for Maggie to come back and for the Negan-Maggie beef to build up again. With that said, I think there's an opportunity for them to do something extremely interesting and kind of show the different layers of Maggie's character in a way as well, and remix the story so that when Maggie comes back, of course, she sees Negan is not in the cell, so initially she's going to be pissed off. She's going to want to bring Negan back. She's going to want answers in the first place, but then she's going to want to bring Negan back. But I think when she talks to Daryl, she might have a different perspective on things, because we know that Daryl at this point has kind of given Negan the benefit of the doubt. As far as Daryl is concerned, Negan saved Judith back in season 9, at the end of season 9, during the snowstorm. As far as Daryl is concerned, Negan saved Lydia. He accidentally killed someone in the process, but he saved Lydia. And the only reason that Negan escaped was because his fate was basically sealed, because he knew that he would be a dead man, that they would just execute him, and that he would have no way to defend himself. So I think that as far as Daryl is concerned, Negan is not in the wrong here. As much as Daryl hates Negan for what he did in the past, at the moment, Daryl doesn't see Negan as being at fault, and he does, to an extent, see Negan being a changed man. So I think after Daryl talks to Maggie and tells him everything that's in his mind, which is basically what I went through, Maggie might have a different perspective about Negan. And as much as she might have wanted to kill Negan when she initially found out that he escaped, that might not necessarily be what is in her mind when Daryl kind of talks to her about this. Now, that doesn't mean that Maggie can just bring Negan back and put him in a cell. No, because there's the community to think about. Because if you think about it, when Maggie comes back, she's going to be in charge of Hilltop again. So she's going to be one of the key leaders of the communities. And the community members are going to look for answers. They're going to want justice in a way. And I think for Maggie, she's not going to be able to just say, we can bring Negan back and he's going to be in a cell. No, there's going to be some people, not only at Hilltop, but Alexandria, Oceanside, and other places that are not going to be okay with that. And I think that the leaders of all of these communities are going to have to think about a strategy, an alternative to killing Negan, which doesn't involve just putting him in his jail cell because no one's going to be accepting of that. So what I think Maggie and Daryl might push towards is to put on a trial for Negan, and they're going to put everything to the table and make everyone understand what's going on. That Negan was not really in the wrong. Yes, he did kill someone in the process, but he was not in the wrong. Now that doesn't mean that he should be a free man at the communities or that he should just be in his jail cell. So I think what they're gonna come up with as an alternative to all of those different perspectives is to exile Negan, so that it would satisfy everyone for the most part. And by exile Negan, I don't mean they can just send him away, but I think they can do something along the lines of transferring Negan far, far away, where it would take him a long time to come back. Now, how they're gonna do that is a different topic and a different conversation, but I think that if they do that, if they do transfer Negan or move Negan somewhere far, far away, the threat of Negan coming back and causing mayhem is minimal. And I think that would be enough for the community members to be okay with, or to kind of, to an extent, accept Negan being a free man, but not being a free man. You know what I mean? So I think that that might be the strategy that they're following. And I think for even the writer's perspective, that might be a great way to create an environment to do a lot of things with Negan. Because if Negan is not in the picture, if he's not part of The Walking Dead's original show, then there's a couple things they can do with him. They can have a standalone spin-off for Negan, which I think would be absolutely cool. They can also create webisodes to tell Negan's stories from the past. So what Negan was all about before the apocalypse, which they can obviously take inspiration from the Here's Negan story arc. But also what they could do is they could create a Negan-centric movie. So there's a lot of different things that they could do when they have the flexibility of having Negan not be a part of the story in The Walking Dead's original show. Now, with that said, they could check back on Negan from time to time and have some Negan-centric episodes down the line, which don't necessarily work into the current storyline, but it kind of tells us what Negan's going through and what he's doing. And obviously they would have more breathing space in that regard, because they could film those in parallel with filming some of the other stuff that they might have planned for Negan, maybe the movie webisodes or his own spin-off show or whatever. So there's a lot of things that can come out of exiling Negan. It could be used as a plot device to basically still keep Negan in the picture, keep Negan in the story in terms of the universe. So he might not be in the TV show, but he's still in the universe. So they could do a lot of things with him if he's still in the picture. But at the same time, they still kind of used Negan as a plot device to have Maggie come back and do something significant when she comes back, and for her return to be integrated with a important story arc, and to also make everything go full circle in terms of Negan's story, and to make it realistic enough where community members and everyone else are in favor of the decision that was made for Negan. So I think that it could be very, very interesting. Now, with all of that said, I think that there's a chance for them to do something super cool right before Negan actually gets exiled. So let me backtrack here. When Maggie comes back, she's gonna have a lot to catch up on. She's gonna learn that Jesus is dead, she's gonna learn that Tara is dead, and she's gonna learn that Enid is dead. And of course, the other people that died after she left. But I chose these three specifically because they were extremely close to Maggie. Jesus was the reason Maggie became leader of Hilltop. Enid was sort of like Maggie's daughter. She was extremely close to Maggie. Tara and Maggie have the longest running relationship, or had, before she died, because they knew each other from the prison story arc. Maggie's gonna have a hard time dealing with all of those three big deaths. It's gonna hurt her pretty hard. And to make things more interesting, all of those deaths were done by the Whispers. The Whispers and Alpha are responsible for all of those deaths. So when Maggie comes back, she's going to want to take revenge for all of those big deaths. and she's not gonna just deal with it and let the Whispers roam around. And of course, this is assuming when Maggie returns, the Whispers are gonna be in the picture. So if that's the case, if the Whispers are still in the picture when Maggie returns, she's gonna want to do something. She's gonna want to act. She's gonna want to take down the Whispers. And she's not gonna want to follow what Michonne, Daryl, and the others have been pushing so far, which is step back and accept what we have. Because if we don't, then Alpha is going to release her horde. The other thing that's very interesting is that it's a similar concept to the Negan story, because the survivors have to sit back and accept the reality that they can't fight back at the moment. And that's extremely important because Maggie, of course, will remember that from the Saviors. She's not gonna be too happy to see that it's the same thing when she's back. Now, the other thing that I want to throw at you guys is how Negan is gonna fit in this picture. But before I do that, I will put a spoiler warning here for non-comic readers, because what I'm going to talk about is going to reveal some key information from the comic book in terms of the story with the Whispers. So if you are not a comic reader and if you don't want to know this information, then please leave this video because I don't want to be the one ruining it for you. So assuming all of you here want to know what I want to say, in the comic book, Negan actually infiltrates the Whisperers camp. He gains their trust, gets close enough to Alpha, and then takes her out, decapitates her head, and brings her head to the survivors. Actually, in the comic, it's Rick. And basically uses that as a way to gain their trust again and to show that he's a changed man. And that's Negan's final redemption story. Now, in the TV show, assuming he does the same thing and they're going to follow the same storyline as far as Alpha's death is concerned, then I think it would be extremely interesting and powerful for Negan to kill Alpha, and he could even say something along the lines of, "Wait until Maggie sees your face," or something like that. He did say that in the comics, but he said, "Wait until Rick sees your face." But in the TV show, if Negan knows that Maggie lost 3 people close to her and Alpha was responsible, then this could be a great way for Negan to take the head and bring it to Maggie as a way to basically ask for her forgiveness and to, in a way, be redeemed in front of Maggie. What better way for Maggie to forgive or accept the fact that Negan can be a free man than for her to be faced with seeing the head of the person that was responsible for 3 people close to her dying. I think that's extremely interesting and extremely powerful if they go that way. Now, of course, there are some things that we lose if they follow this story arc, and that's the Carol stuff. We wanted to see a Carol Alpha showdown, so that means we probably won't see that. And to add to it, Negan won't bring the head to Daryl or Carol. So that's basically the theory, but I do want to know everyone's thoughts and opinions about this theory. Let me know what you think about the theory that Maggie's gonna come back just to exile Negan, maybe at the end of season 10, maybe in season 11. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.